Before the first howl crosses the valley, Denali has already chosen the rules of survival. Glacial rivers shift their channels beneath North America's highest peak. Frost seals wood frogs into the tundra. Wind moves scent across open ground, and cliffs turn vulnerable animals into untouchable silhouettes. Here, strength is never measured in size alone. A small family of grey wolves rises beneath the dwarf willow and begins to move. Their path will carry them past a solitary grizzly powerful enough to change their course. A bull moose too dangerous to challenge, and Dall sheep standing beyond reach on broken granite. Farther ahead, caribou gather in the open valley, protected by numbers, vigilance, and distance. But every track presses into moss. Every strand of hair catches on lichen. Every failed chase leaves a mark that smaller lives inherit. This is Denali wildlife seen across every scale, from the frozen body of a wood frog to the vast face of Wickersham Wall. And before darkness returns, the wolves must learn whether the mountain will block their hunt or become part of it at last. Long before Denali's largest animals rise, the mountain has already begun shaping their day. Glacial water spreads across the Toklat River in a maze of shifting channels. Summer melt carries fine sediment down from the Alaska Range, repeatedly breaking and rebuilding the gravel bars. The river's unstable bed supports fewer fish, aquatic insects, and shoreline plants than Denali's calmer streams. Yet for animals crossing the tundra, it remains both a source of water and a moving boundary. Above the valley stands Denali. At 6,190 meters, it is the highest mountain in North America. More than 3/4 of its surface is covered by permanent snow and ice, while the Wickersham Wall rises about 4,270 meters from Peters Glacier to the North Peak, one of the highest continuous mountain faces on Earth. Far below that frozen wall, morning begins on a bed of reindeer lichen. A wood frog lies motionless beneath a film of frost. Its heart may have stopped. Its breathing has ceased, but the freeze is controlled. Glucose released from the liver, together with accumulated urea, helps protect its cells while ice forms around them. When temperatures rise, the heart can begin beating again. A bead of meltwater slides across its closed eye. Then frost begins falling from something much larger. A grey wolf rises beneath the dwarf willow. Another follows, then another. Adult males average about 48 kilograms and can reach nearly 59. Their heavy coats may appear grey, black, pale, or mixed with darker guard hairs along the back. Yet their real strength is not size. The average Denali pack contains only 4 or 5 wolves, usually breeding parents and their offspring. Together, they share food, defend territory, raise pups, and support injured family members. In a landscape where caribou and moose are scattered across enormous distances, that social bond is a survival system. Some wolf territories in Denali cover as much as 4,145 square kilometers, among the largest documented anywhere. Every unnecessary chase carries a cost, so the wolves conserve energy by placing their feet along the same path and maintaining an efficient traveling pace. One adult stops and raises its muzzle. The howl crosses the kettle ponds and enters the U-shaped glacial valley. It helps separated family members locate one another, but it also warns neighboring packs. A common raven turns toward the chorus. The wolves enter a shallow pond, breaking Denali's reflection into widening circles. When they climb onto the opposite bank, water fills their tracks. A strand of guard hair catches on pale lichen, leaving a microscopic record of their passage. Ahead, another titan is tearing open the earth. A grizzly bear digs into the rocky hillside with long front claws. The muscular hump above its shoulders powers those forelimbs, while its slightly dished face distinguishes it from a black bear. Denali grizzlies live at relatively low densities, about 27 bears per 1,000 square kilometers in the most recent park-wide survey basis, partly because the interior offers fewer calorie-rich foods than Alaska's salmon-rich coasts. This bear is uncovering alpine sweet vetch roots, an important food during spring and late autumn. Later in the year, blueberries and soapberries can dominate its diet. Then the wolves stop. The bear is alone, but solitude is not weakness. Its flexible diet, digging power, and defensive strength allow it to survive without a pack. The lead wolf turns, and the family bends silently around the hillside. A damaged jaw or broken leg could remove a wolf from future hunts. Avoidance is not surrender. It is an investment in the next opportunity. Beyond the ridge, a bull moose feeds among the willows. Moose are the largest members of the deer family. A Denali bull may weigh between 408 and 635 kilograms and stand up to about 2 meters at the shoulder. His coat is nearly black. A loose dewlap called a bell hangs below his jaw, and broad palmate antlers spread above his head. About 1,800 moose live north of the Alaska Range within Denali. Most are solitary. They do not possess the wolves' cooperation, but they scarcely need it. Their long legs cross wetlands and deep snow, reach aquatic plants beneath ponds, and deliver powerful defensive kicks. Once again, the pack moves on. Mist settles into the moose's hoofprint. A grizzly claw has scored the map lichen on a nearby stone. The giants have already passed, but the tundra still carries their signatures. By late morning, Denali has revealed 3 forms of power. the grizzly's solitary flexibility, the moose's defensive mass, and the wolf's ability to turn a small family into a force capable of crossing an entire wilderness. Only the wolves are still searching for a meal. Beyond the willow flats, the ground begins to rise. The wolves leave the damp tundra and enter a slope of loose grey scree where each step sends stone sliding into stone. Their single-file rhythm breaks apart. Bodies that cross the valley with effortless economy now climb in short bursts, testing every foothold. A sharp whistle cuts through the clatter. An American piker disappears into a granite crevice. The wolves barely react. Their attention is fixed above, where the slope narrows into ledges. A Dall sheep stands there, white against the dark rock. From below, it appears exposed. In reality, the cliff is its defense. Dall sheep use steep ridges and crags as escape terrain, and their flexible two-toed hooves grip loose rubble and narrow shelves that offer little security to a wolf. One younger predator tests the incline, but the stones shift beneath its paws. The sheep remains in place, chewing its cud. Dall sheep are the world's only wild white sheep, confined to the mountains of Alaska and northwestern Canada. Their dense coats retain heat so effectively that thermal cameras may struggle to detect them in winter. Rams carry curling horns that grow through spring, summer, and early fall. Growth slows each winter, leaving annual rings that biologists can use to estimate age. In Denali, these sheep have another distinction. The campaign to protect them helped lead to the creation of the original national park in 1917. Today, the population within the old park boundary is one of the few in North America that is not hunted while still sharing its range with a full community of large predators. The wolves understand only the immediate equation. The sheep can be seen, it cannot be reached. The pack turns away. Wind moves through mountain avens below the ledge. A strand of white wool, caught around the stems, snaps against the petals. Nearby, a weathered horn fragment rests in woolly fringe moss, its ridged surface becoming a structure for organisms far smaller than the sheep that produced it. From the ridge, the wolves gain something the sheep denied them: a view. The valley opens beneath the Wickersham Wall, whose icy north face. Cloud shadows cross the granite debris and rolling tundra. Then the leading wolf lowers its nose to the damp moss. A scent remains in the wind. The pack changes immediately, spreading across low scrub and blueberry bushes. Far below, barren-ground caribou move across the valley, like a brown currant. The Denali caribou herd differs from Alaska's immense migratory herds. Its range lies almost entirely within the national park, and its seasonal movements are generally shorter, often following changes in elevation. A preliminary park estimate placed the herd at approximately 1,510 animals in the fall of 2022. Each caribou carries its own set of northern adaptations. Broad, nearly circular hooves spread its weight across soft tundra and winter snow. The same hooves can widen during the season and help the animal dig through snow for buried vegetation. Beneath the outer coat lies a woolly underlayer, while the straight guard hairs above it are hollow, trapping insulating air close to the body. Mature caribou stand approximately 1.2 meters at the shoulder. Unlike most members of the deer family, both males and females grow antlers. But to the wolves, one fact matters more than any measurement. They advance slowly, bellies close to the ground, watching for a limp, a delayed reaction, or a widening gap. Their attention moves constantly from one body to another. They are not yet trying to outrun the herd. They are searching for the single animal that no longer moves exactly with it. For several minutes, the distance closes. Then Denali changes the terms again. A gust sweeps across the open plain. The low vegetation offers little resistance, and the air carries the wolves' scent directly toward the caribou. One head rises, then another. The response spreads through the herd faster than the wolves can advance. Animals that have not seen a predator react to those that have. Within moments, the entire band is alert. The valley erupts. Caribou accelerate across the tundra, their broad hooves striking soil and moss as their bodies merge into a single retreating wave. Dust lifts behind them and begins to erase the empty ground they leave behind. The wolves rise from cover, but they do not commit to a long pursuit. Their concealment has been lost too early. Every additional kilometer would consume energy with little chance of success. Soon, only flattened sedge and disturbed earth remain. In the moss lies an old caribou antler. A springtail moves across its weathered base, indifferent to the failed hunt above. The doll sheep survived because the mountain placed it beyond reach. The caribou escaped because the wind allowed many animals to react as one. The wolves have finally found prey, but Denali has not yet given them a way to take it. The caribou have vanished beyond the ridge, but the failed approach remains written across the valley. Flattened sedge marks the path of the herd. Dust settles into old hoofprints. The wolves stand for a moment in the empty ground, then turn away. They could follow, but the wind has already removed surprise from the hunt. By midday, even the open tundra begins to hold warmth. The wolves slow to a heavy walk. Their dense double coats are designed to trap air close to the skin during Alaska's severe winters, but the same insulation makes sustained movement costly when the temperature rises. One breeding adult finds a shallow depression beneath dwarf birch, lies down, and begins to pant. Wolves cool themselves mainly through evaporation from the mouth and respiratory passages. Each rapid breath releases heat, but also water. Resting is therefore not surrender to the day. It is part of the hunt's energy budget. Soon, the entire family lies scattered beneath the shrubs. Tundra mosquitoes gather in the still air above one wolf's muzzle. The animal flicks an ear but does not rise. Nearby, another adult licks around the face and ears of a younger pack member, then works burrs from its neck fur with its incisors. Above them, a northern hawk owl watches from the exposed top of a dead spruce. Unlike many owls, this northern species frequently hunts in daylight. At the edge of the boreal forest, a Canada lynx lies along a spruce limb, one oversized paw hanging beneath it. The lynx is Alaska's only native cat. Its broad, fur-covered feet spread its weight over soft snow, while the length of its legs allows it to move through drifts that hinder smaller competitors. Across the kettle pond, the bull moose stands chest-deep in dark water. It lowers its head beneath the surface and tears up aquatic vegetation. Higher on the rocks, the Dall sheep remains on its ledge, chewing cud. Near a glacial stream, the grizzly rests with its chin on its paws. For a brief interval, all 5 titans are still. Yet the wider ecosystem has not stopped. A red fox trots along a distant ridge, using the wolves' inactivity to search for rodents. On a lichen-covered outcrop, a hoary marmot stands upright. Often called a whistle pig, it can warn members of its colony with a piercing alarm before dropping back among the rocks. Closer to the ground, carpenter ants travel in opposite streams along dwarf birch bark. A wolf spider moves across Iceland moss, while moisture trapped inside a moose track slowly evaporates. Above this layered stillness, an American peregrine falcon circles beneath the gray cloud ceiling. Then the air changes. Leaves begin to tremble. A cooler current slips down through the U-shaped valley. The wolves lift their heads. A golden eagle suddenly folds its wings and drops toward the tundra before sweeping upward over the resting pack. Denali supports one of the longest-running golden eagle research programs in North America. And these great raptors use the open mountains to hunt ground squirrels, marmots, ptarmigan, and even young Dall sheep. The eagle rises into the new wind. Below, one wolf stretches. Another stands and shakes dust from its coat. Within moments, the family is together again. The silence has conserved their strength, and the landscape is beginning to move. Leaves that had hung motionless through midday began to tremble. A cooler wind descends into the U-shaped valley, carrying a fresh scent across the tundra. The leading wolf raises its muzzle. The pack rises around him without a call. Dust falls from their coats as they return to a steady trot, following the scent through shoulder-high willow. A snowshoe hare crouches against the ground, still wearing its brown summer coat. The wolves pass within meters of it without breaking formation. Their attention is fixed on something farther ahead. The wolves enter the glacial runoff together, pushing through the cold current. Beneath the surface, an Arctic grayling flashes away from their legs, then holds against the water behind a stone. The pack reaches the opposite bank, shakes water from its fur, and continues. An Arctic ground squirrel feels the approaching footfalls and dives into its burrow moments before the wolves cross the ground above it. The wolves descend below the level of the plain and disappear from view. Only the occasional movement of ears above the rim reveals their progress. Near the far end, the pack divides. One group, led by the breeding male, climbs toward the higher ground on the left side of the valley. The remaining wolves stay low, moving through natural trenches toward the right. Beyond a narrow bottleneck, part of the caribou herd grazes in the fading light. The wolves leave the gorge and lower themselves into the golden sedge. Their run becomes a slow belly crawl. Each paw is placed carefully between the dry stems. At the edge of the grass, the leading wolf stops. The rest of the pack freezes behind him. A common raven flies low across the hidden line of predators, its shadow passing over the sedge before continuing down the valley. For several seconds, nothing moves. Then the leading wolf shifts forward. The pack explodes from cover. Caribou scatter across the bottleneck as hooves strike the tundra and loose soil rises into the fading light. The wolves from the higher ground push the herd forward. The second group closes from the side, reducing the space between the fleeing animals and the rocky slope. Above the dust, a golden eagle banks through the twilight, following the disturbance below. Most of the caribou remain together. One does not. The isolated animal loses contact with the main herd as the wolves close behind it. Each attempt to turn back is cut off from another direction. At the top, the ridge opens onto an isolated plateau, ending at a sheer drop. The caribou stops near the cliff edge and turns. Its chest heaves in the cold air. It lowers its antlers and rears, striking outward as the wolves spread into a semicircle. The leading wolf launches, and a cloud of dust and shale rises around the struggle. The animals disappear behind it. When the air clears, the chase is over. The pack stands around the fallen caribou, panting heavily. Steam rises from the fur along their necks as the temperature continues to fall. The breeding pair begins to feed while the younger wolves wait nearby. Only when space opens around the carcass do the others move in. The scent of the kill travels into the darkening valley. A wolverine appears along the edge of the plateau, pacing beyond the wolves' reach. A red fox slips between the shadows of the boulders. The common raven waits on a nearby rock, while the golden eagle settles on a jagged outcrop above the feeding pack. The valley floor is already dark, but high above it, the Wickersham Wall catches the final light. Its hanging glaciers glow in muted pink, while evening mist moves through the granite crevices. The color does not last. Alpenglow retreats upward across the mountain. The lower wall falls into deep indigo shadow, followed by the ridges above it. For a final moment, only the summit of Denali remains illuminated. The wolves leave the stripped remains to the waiting scavengers and curl together on the frozen ground. In the valley below, the bull moose walks into the dark spruce forest until its body disappears between the trunks. After resting, the leading wolf rises from the sleeping pack and walks toward the cliff edge. The others follow. One clear howl crosses the plateau. The pack answers, and their voices travel through the gorge, over the braided river, and along the granite walls of the glacial valley. Behind them, Mount Denali stands in darkness. Denali wildlife. The wolf pack has secured their survival beneath the purple shadows of Mount Denali today. But further south, another titan of the North American wilderness relies not on pack hunting, but on extreme thermal regulation to survive an even harsher winter. Discover the biological survival mechanics of the Yellowstone bison near geothermal vents in our next documentary, Azure Sanctuary. Click here to continue the journey.